Hello friends, this is Growl. In this video, I'm going to talk about my 4 main wishes for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun playing the game regardless, but there's also a lot of missed potential in areas they can improve upon. I'm sticking to things that I think are possible and reasonable to do. No pipe dreams like a $10 million race to world first or deleting warlocks from PvP. I genuinely think that not only is everything on my list pretty reasonable to see, but also something that is possible for them to implement in a reasonable time frame. Shadowlands release is going to be really fun, with a new raid to progress and new dungeons to learn as well. I'm definitely looking forward to pouring tons of hours into the game. That being said, to me, it feels like a lot of the major problems that happened in Battle for Azeroth are being repeated in Shadowlands. Right now, things feel different, but not that much better. I've even heard people describing Shadowlands as BFA 2. Personally, I've had a lot of fun over the last couple years, but this might worry some people. I hope that this new expansion will not only bring a lot of new content, but also improve upon and learn from the past mistakes. Now, let's dive into the 4 things that I think they have the most to improve on. First on my list is Covenants. No, I'm actually not going to talk about Covenants or any of that sort of stuff at all. It's already been beaten to death by everybody, so let's pretend the Covenant system is going in unchanged. First on my actual list is more frequent tuning. Over the course of Battle for Azeroth, Blizzard did make occasional balance updates trying to tune classes, however, it left a lot to be desired. There were quite a few classes that were extremely weak or extremely strong for way too long, and it's a bit disappointing and makes the game feel stale. I love playing with a class that I don't get to play much like Feral Druid or Demolock and just watch them completely own or see their cool utility. However, it just happened less and less because most people had no hope of their characters ever being strong and just ended up re-rolling. I think the biggest problem is Blizzard doesn't want to mess with things too early, so they let things stew around a bit. Then what happens is guilds progress and get used to these overpowered specs or classes, and then they're afraid to make any big tuning or undo the work that they've done. They really need to just grow a pair and step in and address some obvious issues. Fire mages were clearly going to be busted before the Mythic Ny'alotha raid was released, and yet they sat completely busted for the rest of the expansion. Yeah, it would have definitely upset some mages or guilds to have nerfed them early on, but how many hunters, shadow priests, boomies, and all other range specs just got sat for the rest of progress or from their Mythic Plus team because they weren't a fire mage? The best solution would be a regular balance patch, every month. It's a bit of work, but I think if the community got used to the first Tuesday of the month balance patch or whatever, eventually it would go over well and be a much better experience for players. It would lead to better tuning and also make things so much less concrete once they get implemented. The conduit system with Covenants is a great opportunity for Blizzard to make specs more viable and create a more diverse meta, but they do need to use them. Second is more interesting item design. This is one thing that doesn't get talked about much, and I'm pretty surprised actually. I think WoW's item design is one of the most boring, flavorless takes on a gearing system I've ever seen. The item design is so generic that many players don't even look at what's on the item other than the item level. There's almost no room for creativity or uniqueness because items are just so bland. The biggest problem is that your main stat, stamina, and armor are all locked in with each item level, and then the secondary stats are always distributed in exact proportions. This means there's no opportunity to distinguish yourself or have interesting decisions with gear. There's no opportunity to think, this encounter is really easy, I'm just going to play like a glass cannon for tons of damage. Or, I know if I can live, then I can get through this, so let me just build really defensively. It's like they focus so intently on tuning for raids that they need everybody to be within some exact health and armor values all the time. Why not just give people some choices on what they want to use? And if they get one-shot by some mechanic because they set their character up like a monkey, well, so be it. Third is a major social cleanup. WoW is a community-driven game, and having the networking and social parts of the game looking crisp is important, especially for new players. Why in the world is Group Finder always clogged with people advertising sale runs, even though it's against the rules? All it takes is one intern on their lunch break every day to go down the Group Finder list handing out bans until these people stop. It's all the same websites and groups anyway. The only thing more tilting than getting rejected from 3 groups in a row because of your Raider.io score is then having to stare at some stupid advertisement. The in-game public chat channels are just as bad too. They are completely unusable now because every realm is just filled with these advertisers. Look, I don't mind if you and your guildies want to try and make a bit of extra gold on the side and offer a service, but people who are running multiple accounts across every server, spamming a message every minute in every channel need to get muted. Give them their own services channel or something. Maybe the in-game community system is the answer that I'm just not seeing, but it's really hard for fun experiences to happen between players if they're gated behind communities. I know myself for certain, I have all of the general and trade chats turned off anytime I go into a city. Last is better rewards. I might have a bit of a bias because I'm playing Mythic Plus, so you might say that this is focused around that. People are incentive driven, and I'd love to see more cool stuff being rewarded for accomplishing things in different areas of the game. Store mounts and WoW tokens don't really bother me so much, but just make some more cool stuff for the players too. The most recent example is the Shadowlands mount poll they did on social media. They came up with unique designs for mount ideas, had them sketched out, and now what's happening to them? All of them but one are going into the bin, and the one that won is just being handed out to everybody. I don't totally mind stuff like this, considering they're just trying to up their social media engagement or whatever. It's just a bit disappointing to have one achievement and mount for all plus 15s timed in Mythic Plus, and that's it. People will spend an entire season, an entire expansion, progressing through Mythic Plus, meeting friends, improving, and for what? I genuinely think Mythic Plus is not only extremely fun, but a very unique experience that only exists in World of Warcraft. The only other thing encouraging people to play it was the weekly chest, and now you can get that from just raid logging, so I think we're going to see even less people getting into Mythic Plus. Hand out more cool titles, achievements, or mounts. What if there was a special title for the highest completed dungeon for each spec? Like, you could have a title for progressing the furthest as a Resto Shaman on the Tichondria server. Or even just another mount or transmog set for having all plus 20s or higher time to give people something a little higher up to aim for. I don't even mind if they go away at the end of an expansion or are obtainable later so that collectors don't have to worry about going for them either. I don't think these things are too difficult to do, they just have to put in the effort forth to do them. That covers my major hopes and wishes for Shadowlands. I know chances are we aren't going to see many or all of these things, but I thought it would be cool to put my ideas out there, and who knows, maybe someone important is listening. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting out more content from opinion pieces like this to walkthroughs and guides, all the way up to and after Shadowlands release. Happy keying!